Hey y'all, happy Independence Day. This is Scott with Paladin Tire Tactics. I know it's been a while since I posted a video, so I'm going to do kind of a short one with my thoughts in regard to mass shootings and school shootings. So I've been thinking about doing a video specifically in relation to the Uvalde mass shooting, and the reason being is I've been asked a lot by students and friends as to what my thoughts were on that shooting. So really, I want to approach the problem of mass shootings really maybe from a different perspective than what a lot of people are saying out there. Here's what I think will work. There's a reason that in the Old Testament, in the theocracy of Israel, people were stoned as a capital punishment. Communities would come together after someone was found to be guilty of rape or murder, and they would be stoned to death. Now, not only was that a means of carrying out justice against the offender, but it was also a mechanism of deterrence. So my first point in how we stop mass shooters is we deter them. Now, I don't know if we'll ever get to the point where we grasp the idea of deterrence in our culture, in our society, but until we do, we're going to suffer the consequences of glorifying shooters, these cowards, these mass shooters that go out and want their 15 minutes of fame glorified by leftist media outlets, which, by the way, they're part of the problem too in this glorification. They're aiding and abetting these mass shooters by glorifying their actions and digging into the psychology behind them and posting their pictures all over the place and repeating their names for days and weeks and years to come. That's not helping deter anyone. In fact, it's actually emboldening and attracting more of these cowards to come forward and do and carry out. There's a lot that goes into deterrence, but one of them has to do with how we punish those who are captured alive in mass shootings. As we know that most mass shooters are stopped by good people with guns. They're not stopped by laws. They're not stopped by political movements. They're stopped when a good man or a good woman decides to put a firearm in their hands. They garner up some courage. They walk into that building and they shoot that mass shooter coward dead. That's how you stop them. So deterring a mass shooting is arming the population, not disarming the population. Deterring a mass shooter is, secondly, it is making sure that there is a special category of law that they are violating when they choose to walk into a school or walk into a supermarket or ambush a parade that is full of civilians. And once they fall under that statute, they are immediately dealt with in a very public and very brutal way. The stoning concept of the Old Testament was a very public display of justice. I think that what we ought to do is we ought to publicly execute these people in front of everyone. And it shouldn't be something where we tell the world who they are and where they came from. And there needs to be capital punishment that associates with this heinous crime that they're committing. There needs to be a change to the state laws. There needs to be a change to the federal laws that makes it so incredibly brutal. The punishment is so incredibly brutal that no one would ever want to be caught after having carried out that attack. And the reason I say this is because the Buffalo shooter specifically stated in his ridiculous racist manifesto that he didn't want to commit suicide because he wanted to bask in the glory of his actions. So folks like that, folks that we capture after wounding them or capturing them after they surrender, they should be brutally and publicly executed. And it should deter other people from wanting to do the same thing. The second part is hardening. And this, again, carries the same characteristic of the first point, which is we should harden the structures that they are routinely attacking. What are the structures that they're routinely attacking? Well, for one, schools. Schools are their main targets because, one, it is the weakest among us in our population, aside from the unborn. But there are children that cannot defend themselves. It's an unarmed, easy target that they can strategically pick. And there's a lot of truth to, I heard one political commentator say, why is it that we harden our banks and put more security in our money, but yet not our schools where our children go? We protect our money in this country and in our society more than we protect our children. That should tell you a lot about where our priorities are. So we should be dumping billions of dollars into hardening the structures that they are known to attack, which is schools and other unarmed areas. The second part of hardening is we should encourage the populace to carry and train with their firearms. So that structure and that location becomes a hardened structure because, listen, if there's any lesson that y'all have learned from Uvalde, it should be this. You cannot count on law enforcement to save the day. And this is coming from a police officer. I've been a police officer now for almost 8 years. I'm on a tactical team. I teach firearms and tactics as a side business. But my full-time job is law enforcement. You cannot count on the police to come to your aid. You are your own first responder. No one else is going to save you. It is only you. If you do not take that to heart, then I promise you, on the day when you need the police, they will be 3 to 5 to maybe 10 minutes away. That's a long time to spend in the presence of somebody who wants nothing more than to snatch your life from you. Understand that you are responsible for your defense. We say this all the time in our classes. It's your gunfight. It's not my gunfight. You can't put me in your pocket. You can't put me in your purse. You can't carry me around. I want to be there for your gunfight, but chances are I ain't going to be there. So it's your gunfight. Act accordingly, train accordingly, plan accordingly. So hardening our structures is the second point. That includes arming the populace. And the second thing that it includes is creating those physical barriers that would prevent someone from easily walking in. There's a school in our jurisdiction that, man, they do such a good job of arming their staff, of creating a hardened structure. And they are ready for the fight when it comes to them. They're ready to protect their children. If we do not take seriously the great responsibility that we have of protecting ourselves and our loved ones and our communities around us, then we are simply sheep for the slaughter. We are helpless at the hands of madmen and madwomen who would take up, doesn't have to be guns, could be a U-Haul truck like it happened in France. It can be bombs, it can be an airplane. There is real, brutal evil that is stalking and looking to devour people, looking to shed the blood of the innocent. So I've gone a little bit long on this video, guys. Y'all stay safe. Get training. Carry your guns. Get medical training. Find trainers. If you want some training from me, Paladin Tower Tactics. That's PALADIN Tower Tactics.com. Yeah, y'all stay safe, and yeah, make sure you're training because it's your gunfight.